Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Can we have them lower this? Hello. Hello. Please check whether there's anybody in the other room. There are people. Please, if there are people in the other room or in the locker room, let them come forward, please. Please, can we move? Hello. Please, can we take our seats? Can we move forward, please? I know that some of us are backbenchers right from secondary school, but I think by now, that side is supposed to not tire us. Let's move forward, please. Thank you. We want to get this started. Please, Comrade Jaye, please, the change mantra. Please, let's occupy the front rows. Please, this is important. Hello. Please, let us move to the front row. It's not really very good for our cameras. Barrister Osakwe, Barrister Nosa, please move towards the front row. I don't know where baristas are beginning to sit now. Is it because of the fear of SSS? I don't know why baristas are beginning to sit at the back of the hall. So is it TSS? TSS. Please, can we occupy the front row? This is important, please. We've got to get this going. Or can I just say move to the next row in front of you? Can please everybody move to the front row in front, the next row in front of you? Please. Thanks so much. My name is Akibo Dolafemi. I work for Environmental Rights Action. I will be the conference for this morning session, after which a colleague, Barrister Chima Williams, who is also hiding, baristas are hiding these days, will take it over from me. You're welcome to this year's National Environmental Congress. We are waiting for government officials. We sent invitation delivered, received, stamped to the highest level of government, but we think we can no longer wait for them. I guess that's also part of the change mantra. With that as may I call on Professor Margaret Subara to please come to the table. Thank you very much. Please, can we have Professor Larry Fagbo, the Vice Chancellor of the Lagos State University? Well, welcome. I humbly request the Executive Director, Environmental Rights Action, Friends of the Earth Nigeria, Dr. Godwin Uyojo, to please join us on the item. You know, in these days of think operations, you never know what actually happened between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. So we will just have to proceed. We want to invite the representative of the director, Melody Pense, Donald Ms. Nike, to please join us on the high table. Madam, please, you are welcome. And may I also humbly request Barrister Nuruddin Obara to join the high table. Thanks so much, Barrister. We learned that 2 of our VIPs are having flight delays in Owerri. So we will want to please that for this session, Barrister Nuruddin Obara will act as the interim chair while we await Honorable Uche Onyabucha, whom I eventually confirm is on his flight now. He has touched down. So, the chair, sir. Thank you. But before the national anthem, may I humbly invite Mr. Legosi Rabara, President Mosop, to join the high table. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Please. Wow. They say we're using. Please, you have your programs. If you have your program, please say, I will collect that. So I learned that the first and the second stanzas of the national anthem are what we're going to take. So may we rise to take the national anthem, please. God of creation, direct our Lord, guide us, lead us right, ever you the truth to know. In love and honesty, to trust and believe just and true. With love behind and sin, to build a nation where peace So help us God.
Thank you very much. And we are going to start the program today. And of course, I know that somebody, I don't know whether it's that last family, a lot of people who have defined politics as authority allocation for that resources. And I understand that the resources are always very scarce, especially natural resources. And so, who is going to authority if they allocate those resources? And then get to improve the economy. But I'm not going to open the papers that are allowed for the social. That's the program by calling on. I think the poverty to call on our esteemed executive director to give his own welcome address, after which we now receive. So I'm going to call on our doctor following you to his welcome address, and I know that the person will the power that process of the recruitment. I'm sure some of our members that they are going to. Can you kindly give a rousing welcome about the executive director of
Good morning, everybody. I greet everyone on this side of the service table. Our own very dear Mama Era, member of the board of Environmental Rights Action, Professor M.T. Ukorodudu Mubara. Please help me to welcome her this morning. Welcome and thank you for standing with us, by us, and you continue to strengthen us. May the Lord reward you in Jesus' name. I want to very specially make welcome our own activist. They have the youngest Vice Chancellor. Let me welcome Professor Larry Kagom, the Vice Chancellor, University of Lagos. I announce Lagos State University. Thank you. I want to announce publicly, with your permission, sir. This professor, my era member, Chairman, sir, thank you for your stepping in. And of course, my very dear friend, Comrade Legacy, thank you for coming to support us. Our own sister here is a great supporter of ERA. If you look at this banner, you will see one of the gas flaring and end the obnoxious practice by 2020. He was speaking on the 10th International Conference and Exhibition of the Nigeria Gas Association here in Abuja, and stated that the hike in penalty will be driven by the National Gas Flare Commercialization Program, which will commence in the first quarter of 2017. Government also said there is 51 billion investment opportunities in gas processing and transmission and generation of infrastructure development. And it went on and went on and on and on. Also noted that 16 billion investment opportunities are expected from free trade zone infrastructure, development concessioning of gas transmission pipelines and liquefied petroleum plants, among others. This attempt by government to substitute stop flaring for cash is no solution.
Place for cash is no solution. While this might seem a welcome development, it should be stated that gas flaring is illegal by virtue of a 2005 High Court judgment, which has not been appealed or repealed to date. Place for cash is a false solution. Ending gas flaring has been a moving target with over a dozen times, and government demonstrating less than feeble attempt at enforcement. Government requires the political will to act, to contend with corporate impunity, and maintain our national sovereignty. In the oil and gas sector, the Nigerian government, NNPC, that is the regulator, has become deregulated. And those oil companies that are operating with impunity, that should be regulated, has become the regulator. This will draw attention in order that we will stop this slide. While corruption thrives, the environment suffers. The federal government flagged off the clean up of Ogoni communities. You know the story early this year and what happened a few months back when Ogoni clean up was flagged off. But as you and I can see, once the camera lights went out, nothing has been heard. There's no holistic plan and there's no fund released for the initial 1 billion that was set to have been released for this program. The entire Niger Delta cleanup will require a cleanup fund of 100 billion. Shoreline communities are sinking. Tremors are more frequent. Whole communities have lost their ancestral homes to erosion. The Sahel is losing its flora, thereby driving the herdsmen southwards. Ladies and gentlemen, what responses have we gotten from our policy makers? It does appear that change we need in resource governance and environmental management has not come. On environmental issues, has change come to Nigeria? The challenge is simply beyond oil. For 2 days, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, we will all be discussing natural resource governance, its inclusiveness and sustainability, and the need for policy and institutional change. We will re-examine the issues of natural resource ownership, natural resource control and management, and the contestations of social actors for control and resource use, drawing from national and global context. I want to thank everyone that have come. We have both national and international participants. Together, we will appraise how this government has fared in the areas of sustainable management and conservation of resources, including the rise of nature, the rise to safety, rise to healthy environment, the protection of forested landscapes and livelihood, enforcement of extant laws for environmental crimes, and transparency and accountability issues. With your expertise as government officials yet to come, as academicians, lawyers, community representatives, we plan to come out with a set of recommendations to assist policymakers in reframing resource governance in Nigeria and build policy framework for post-oil Nigeria. Since the environment lies prostrate, an environmental emergency to draw attention to the issues of the environment is called for now. Let's proceed from oil dependency to renewables alternatives that are community controlled, community driven, community produced, community supplied. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's protect the environment because the environment is our life. The environment is our life. The environment is our life. Can I hear you say it? The environment is our life. The environment. The environment. Thank you.
Please, I want to get another round of applause. The welcome address itself says, okay. And I'm sure I have the permission of the executive director to say that people are going to have copies of that welcome speech because it is the full agenda of this. A lot of visual references, not sports, official kleptocracy, of over 400 billion naira by a few of the states in Nigeria. Lots of ecological funds alone, not other. I am not aware that any of those state governments rate on that issue itself. But again, that is another issue. But it's very interesting. Very interesting because we are talking about ecological funds, natural resources issue. Then, when we are saying that the governance is absent, even the little fund that is available still being funded by those that have purportedly reported into office, who ordinarily supposed to be the custodian. Of course, the executive director has also told us about the ministerial position of gas area. To clearly under Nigerian law is legal. There is a judicial pronouncement, which has not been set aside. And the Constitution says that every person, every authority must obey court order until say set aside. It's not being set aside. Then the minister comes out to say that, well, gas flaring, we are going to increase, levies to be paid on them. We are looking at the possibility of stopping. What are that nonsense? Well, we are Nigerians, we had, what are we doing? So many issues. But again, let us not go, let us move on so that we take time. I'm sure we are coming back to the executive director speech at appropriate time, perhaps during the question and answer session, so that we see some agenda that we can formulate for ourselves, particularly, so that wherever we go, we'll be able to take it up from there. Sorry, I just said that I should mention that. Let me recognize those who are going to give us goodwill message. I'm going to recognize my dear and my sister. I came to a lake of I'm sorry, friends of the Netherlands, to give us a goodwill message from the international perspective. This is not our first time in Nigeria, I'm very sure. Very interesting. Well, perhaps you are welcome to Nigeria and they want to listen to from international corporates. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me to this conference. For me, it's very special to be here because we as Milieudefensie, Friends of the Earth Netherlands, we've been working with HERA, with all colleagues that are in the room for several years now. And one of our main activities or our main campaign tools is that we started a court case against Shell, against the oil pollution that they caused in 3 villages in the Niger Delta. We had some very big successes in this campaign, but we're still not there yet. So we have to continue fighting the pollution that is caused by Shell, because Shell is a company that is based in the Netherlands. For some people, it's our national pride. For me, it's not my national pride anymore because I see what Shell is causing. here in Nigeria and also in other places around the world. And I'm very, very happy to be here at this conference. I will also give a longer presentation tomorrow. And I feel personally, but also we as Milieudefensie, we feel a responsibility for the damage that Shell is causing here in Nigeria. And we are determined to support in any way we can and keep our company Shell accountable for what they are doing here in the Niger Delta, but also when you talk about climate change, because Shell is one of the biggest CO2 emitters in the world. And if we take the Paris Climate Agreement serious, if we really want to keep climate change below 2 degrees or better below 1.5 degrees, Shell needs to stop extraction of oil and gas totally in Nigeria, in the Netherlands, in the US, everywhere. It's not only Nigeria that needs to move beyond oil, it's the whole world that needs to move beyond oil. And I think international cooperation between social movements is key to actually make this happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, colleague. She has underscored that an injury to one is an injury to all. So whether you are in Netherlands or you are in Calabar, Nigeria, an injury is an injury, and injustice is an injustice. Thank you once again, my dear sister. I'm going to call on our president, who's president, my dear Mr. Lebrosi, president of Consol, to give us our witness. Mr. President, sir.
Great Ogoni people. Great Nigerian people. Members of the high table, distinguished guests. According to the late Ken Saro-Wiwa, the environment is a man's first right. Without a safe environment, you cannot live to claim any other rights. That is why for us in Mosom, I am indeed grateful that I was invited for this event. This is my first time of coming for this Congress. I know that you have tried to bring me here before, but I think our schedules are always clashing. And this one I said I must be here. But I think we're not just here for here's sake. For Mosom, we are indeed happy that ERA and those who are passionate about the environment has kept this struggle, has kept the agenda of the environment on the front burner. Mosom emerged as one of the very pioneer organizations to raise the question of oil pollution in Niger Delta to the center stage of global acclaim in 1990 when we launched the Ogoni struggle. And I think it was that struggle that gave birth to organizations like ERA. It was that struggle that made the issue of the environment to become an issue that Nigerian people started looking at. So I think it is our joy that ERA and the rest of us has kept that issue alive. One thing is to start something, another issue is to make sure that that issue continues to be an issue that we're going to look at. For Mosom, I think we're in a very critical moment, particularly looking at what is happening globally in terms of the environment. The environmental crisis, with the climate change crisis, the biological crisis, we gave ourselves biodiversity 2020. As far as we are concerned, we are already 2016, 4 years down to 2020. Instead of reducing the biodiversity loss in the world, we are seeing an increase in biodiversity loss. We are seeing an increase in the impact of climate change. So the world stands at a serious crossroad. In Nigeria, the matter is worse because we've not seen any coherent action and policy by the government. I was not discussing with Mike here, and I said the cup of climate change has almost become a jamboree. Others are going there and coming out with definite action. But ours that will go there every year and is not influencing what we're doing nationally. But I think that the agenda can be set from this Congress because we are all here, we know about the issues, and I think that from this Congress, this is the only Congress I know in this country where issues like this are being discussed. So I think that we need to congratulate ourselves that the issue of environment has an annual Congress, as we are always taking the issue forward. And I will believe all of us that by the time we finish this Congress, we should come out with a clear action on what we needed to do on climate change, what we needed to do on environmental issues, what we needed to do on the stopping of oil pollution, not just the Niger Delta. Thank God they discovered oil in Lagos. So the oil pollution in the entirety of Nigeria. My brothers and sisters, I think we'll come out of this Congress with that sort of clear and focused action to achieve the purpose of organizing this Congress. God bless all of us.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let us move quickly because time is fast going. Let me call on my comrade from Uganda, Comrade David Buredi, a friend of ours, Uganda, to come and give us a quick message. Comrade David, where are you? Please, a round of applause for you.
Ladies and gentlemen seated at the high table, invited guests, and fellow participants, you are all welcome. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
You don't talk like Nigerians. I thought Nigerians were strong people. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. My name is Breva David. I'm the resource person for Friends of the Earth Africa. I coordinate groups, and I'm happy to be here. Either you have done, I think, something that I've never had before. Getting visa on arrival from like my country, it's not easy, but you have struggled and I don't know what you have gone through to ensure that you are here. I think Era deserves the round of applause. I think Era, you have done very good things, including fighting companies also that are mining oil. You have not made all of that fight of getting that visa, but also fighting those companies. I think it is a big job that you have fought. I think you also deserve the round of applause. We are happy as friends of Uganda to associate with ERA. We have gotten people from ERA to come to Uganda and share experience on how oil is likely to benefit or destroy the livelihoods of communities. Let that cooperation continue. And we're also happy to associate with ERA on issues of oil watch. Because we believe that when the environment is not really protected, then we don't have any livelihoods. Thank you for organizing the annual general meeting that is for the environment, and thank you for inviting these professors. These are the people who write, these are the people who actually propel the kind of work that we do. We are in solidarity with you. Thank you very much. Let us continue.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for David. Now, I'm going to call on the president of the Polish Solidarity Forum, my dear soulmate, Celestine Apollo. Please a round of applause for him.
Before we vanish from government. Good morning, comrades, and our colleagues on this other side. Sincerely, I want to thank God and thank ERA for keeping alive this tradition. To check the DNA of 90% of the people seated there, you will find ERA in our country. I mean, I'm not kidding. It is very few organizations that can do that. And if you go to the communities where oil is produced, you will see the footprint of ERA everywhere. If there are fishermen and farmers in oil-bearing communities that have suffered losses and livelihoods that have had the guts to take the oil companies or government to any court, whether you're in Nigeria or outside this country, is the error. If there are people that are, keep on reminding citizens and community people that we have an environment to protect, it is error. If there are anything that we know about the environment today, it is error. Is there any or what that is? I mean, there anything, it is error because most of us only hold conferences and workshops and they go that deep down into the communities. And very few organizations, can do that. So if there will be a change, it will also come from error. If oil companies will be changed tomorrow for ecocide, it will be because of error. And so I will really commend them. The struggle that my president has talked about, that we are able to keep the oil under the soil. One case, Atacama Road. You look very well inside my area because they keep reminding us that there was a struggle, that this was not a jamboree, it was not a suicide mission to just send people to their graves. And so I will add to what the president has said, that as we discuss today, that we should endeavor to make sure that Ogoni oil remain under the soil. That the cleanup that is coming up should not be any reason why they should take oil. The government should not make any excuse or the oil company to say, if we don't take oil, we cannot do it. We need ERA to make a statement from this meeting supporting that on no account to any person don't mention about oil. Because they took oil from Ogoni for 30 years and nobody has paid a dime for that. The money that was generated from Ogoni is somewhere. They should use it to clean the place before we even talk about, even to discuss it. I don't see any reason discussing it. So ERA should keep the tanks ready and make a clear statement because I'm seeing that people are becoming funny and we will not allow that to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my comrade. As we were making, as Celestine was about to make the comment, the official chairman of the Central Alive, and since I'm telling chairman, I'm going to see immediately because I do not want the second time. Neither do I want the location of service. I can assure you that my latest senior, Honorable Koweri Uche, is loaded, and you cannot escape, he's talking to us, because we are lucky that we finally do it. But he needs to be introduced, and that we're going to call on the deputy director of Environmental Rights Action of Nigeria, Otuba Akibode, to come and do a short, a synoptic introduction of the chairman of the annual congress. He deserves to be so introduced. Please do so that he takes you 5 minutes.
Oh, I should introduce his chairman. You now reminded me of what happened in 1975 when the student was asked to comment on the life attacks of the Jesus Christ. And he wrote back saying, how can I comment on the life attacks of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? I think you are giving me a very tall job to do. I think the easiest way to introduce comrade, honorable, activist, politician, Uche Onyago, humanist, Uche Onyago, that is also to simply say, is my organ. At the same time, you are welcome. We were already looking at what we can do to fast track your flights. from Owerri, but we were short of ideas. We were about to set some keg of petrol for the plane so that it can fly faster. For those who don't know, Honorable Tony Abuja is a lawyer, he's an activist, has been a member of ERA even before I know the word Environmental Rights Action Friends of Nigeria. I can say with all humility that people like you are able to inspire us into environmental activism. Was been involved in pro bono litigation for communities on issues of environment, providing technical support for ERA on areas of legal litigation and things like that from the Port Harcourt office before he decided to change course. And sometimes we are now confused whether to call him an activist or a politician. But he's an activist politician. He was in the House of Rep, and somehow maybe he couldn't summon enough votes or enough bullets or enough dollars or naira notes. I don't know. All I know was that his election ended up in court, and we are waiting for DSS to go and conduct the incorporation of the judges that sat on his case. Lastly, and not the least, is that he is an active, and I use the word active appropriately, member of the board of Environmental Rights Action, Friends of the Earth Nigeria. Mr. Chair.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I apologize sincerely for coming this late. I flight left a little late. I was sure that we were going to get here earlier than now. I sincerely apologize. It is my pleasure to come in even at this point. I am sure that my brother, who acted as chairman, has done justice to the office. So we don't need for me to repeat whatever he has done. I concur. In that regard, I will plead that we continue from wherever we stopped in the spirit of progress. Thank you very much.
Well, I've never known Uche to be this brief. Maybe the microphone will find him some other time. But I want to tell you one story about this man, how clever he is. You know, sometimes I just remember what he did and I just start to laugh. Uche and our very dear friend, departed Oronto Douglas, they went to see Ken Saro-Wiwa in prison, along with our friend Nikasti Jones, all members of ERA. So immediately they got there. What is the name that time? Is it SSS? SSS, the military, the Joint Task Force. They arrested them. Lie down. For 1 hour or more, they were weeping. Immediately, they started beating our departed friend Oronto. We stayed quiet, and they were flogging and flogging. But immediately they touched Uche. They left him. Please clap for this very wise man. So the last time I was arrested, before they got me, okay. Mr. Chairman, please bring in our next keynote address speaker.
Thank very much. I think we are expecting something to be written on that experience. But that story has not ended. And we want to know where it ends. So maybe when we get to item 7, we'll be releasing it. Now, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Props, let me again call on the Deputy Director of Environmental Rights Action to properly introduce that. We have known him, but some of us do not know him. Even if you have known him, he deserves our continued respect and recognition. And for somebody to prepare a keynote address, we want to know that person so that he serves as a preference for presentation. So, esteemed as a Deputy Director, kindly listen to us.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Professor Larry Fago. Well, I'm not reading a citation because I'm not very good at formal things. In fact, maybe that's why I'm still doing this kind of work today. Yeah. Was born some few years ago in Lagos. And the shocking thing about him is that he attended an Agege primary school. For those of us who think that groupies don't come from local communities, I think we need to go and say this in Lagos, sir. And you permit me to let people know that you are from Agege. He got all his degrees both in Nigeria and abroad. And he started lecturing at Lagos State University. And several times he served as head of departments, whether at the Department of Business Law, Property Law, and he moved to the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies. He had served at various roles as resource persons, either for British Council or so many international agencies, including state and national agencies like the Lagos State Water Regulatory Commission. He was a member of the federal government committee that developed the climate change policy. He's a member of the Nigerian Bar Association and is a member of the International Bar Association, for which he has received several honors nationally and internationally. And today, he is the Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University. Please help me welcome Professor.
Thank you very much, sir. I know one day I'm going to not put in trouble. I hope you will not receive the cake. Let me start by recognizing the presence of the chair of this event, Honorable Uche Eguchi. I want to say this, sir. For you to have served in office and be able to come back to this gathering shows your demand. Not many people will go to public office and be able to come back, because when you look at this gathering, that you critique whoever you are, it will tell you as it is. You may not like it, it will tell you. And that is why we must credit ourselves. I tell them at the university that I had a constituency that I was not. And this is that. If you go to the New York University today, don't bother going to the professor. Ask for the man, for the security man, for the cleaner. What is governance in this university? If you really say, what of it? Go there today. 8 months, it's a totally different university that you have there. Anytime you go to Lagos, go to Lagos State University. And it's only that we don't want to do because of our selfishness and our greed. We can't. I don't know whether to say the interim chairman or the former chairman. Because there's a complexity here. The chairman came and said, continue acting for me while I am watching your act and monitoring you. So that's why I'm confused how to find you. My very, very distinguished, able and credible colleague, Nurudeen Obara. I thank you very much. My teacher, I'm a vice president today, courtesy of like the professor. The kind of ethics that we must have. Professor Kubara gave this kind of ethics and values and norms to us. Thank you very much. My Oga, the executive director himself. We are always the colleagues writing papers together. I think we will continue in that state. Office will come, office will come. Office will come, office will come. We will continue. And that's why we must act right. President Musso, thank you very much. Is Ike Tune from the Netherlands. You're welcome. My very great colleagues, always interacting. Guys, I know. Always peaceful interacting with these people. Thank you very much for keeping it. Nigeria will come out right. We will continue to be at it. We will get it. One of the places where, if I have presentations to make, I don't ask them, do you want me to say it as it is? Or you want me to say it as you want to hear it? In which case I will decline. This place is one of those places. I say it, I feel free to say it. Because I've been at the podium when, with very great respect, a minister sent a note to me and said I should reduce that. Yes, a note was slipped to me that I should reduce it, otherwise it should be. I was not even telling you into the presentation. Not even telling you into the presentation. It gives me great pleasure to present a keynote address at this prestigious Environmental Congress of the Environmental Rights Action, especially as it seeks to set new frontiers for sustainable resource governance. I suspect the desire of ERA is to see how Nigeria can improve its global competitiveness without compromising on environmental sustainability. An appropriate benchmark is the Global Competitiveness Index in the way it considers the impact of policies and reforms on institutions, infrastructure, macroeconomic stability, health and primary education, higher education and training, goods market efficiency, financial market sophistication, technological readiness, market size, business sophistication and innovation. It is guided by this index that we can say the sad but incontrovertible conclusion is that Nigeria is far from where it should be when you talk about environment, economic diversification, and resource governance. With specific reference to economic growth, to say that Nigeria's economy has been badly affected by the aftermath of the global economic slowdown will be an understatement. As the world struggles through what has come to be regarded as the global meltdown, Nigeria has been greatly scattered. And there's so much of confusion regarding whether we have in place the appropriate strategies for bouncing back. Unemployment is increasing while poverty is deep. When you look at the indices, you find out that from 12.1, unemployment has now gone to 13.3, and that is what is coming out from the government agency, the National Bureau of Statistics. So you begin to ask, and this 13.3 is the highest since that of 2009. So we say we have so much of abundance of this, abundance of that, but poverty is deepening. Unemployment is pushing its frontiers. We have issues that we're dealing with. Even the most resilient are concerned that an economy that was the toast of the world in the 70s is now hailed among the world's most depressed. Because it was in this same country, in the 70s, that the government came out and said, we don't even know what to do with money. We don't know what to do with money. We had it in abundance. If you go to Dubai today, they don't have any other resource other than tourism in the real sense of it. But at the end of the day, look at the kind of economy that they have. While the upheaval in the global economy will not recede overnight, the reality is that the complex changes which have resulted in the crisis are certain to continue for as long as free markets and private ownership continue to be the driving force of economic growth and development. What this means for countries is that the vision, strength, and ability of leaders to implement workable and effective strategies will always determine what a country gets. These are what will determine whether a nation will climb rapidly up the value chain of sustainable development or continue to be threatened by the competitiveness of other nations while remaining at the bottom rung of the ladder. Success of a number of economies has placed unprecedented stress on the earth's resources. Developed economies have continued to sustain their economic models, still heavily dependent on these resources, while the developing economies have intensified the age-long rhetoric of playing catch-up, of course, with these same resources as the target. That is why when we say we want fossil fuel to remain in the ground, I ask myself, how well government is? Because globally, at the international level, they are focused on these resources. At the national level, they don't want to think outside the box. They are also focused on these resources. So it's a conspiracy of the sort that will not go away. So the question you ask yourself is, what is the way out? Because it's a conspiracy. It will not go. I'm going to talk about what is the way out when I get there. But we should start asking ourselves, what is the way out? And I will jump the gun and say this. Obasanjo, he was not good. Yar'Adua, he was not good. Jonathan, he was not good. Buhari, he is not good. There's a problem somewhere. Structure is wrong. And it is not about federalism on this. If you bring any other type of government, you fail. Because we are selfish, greedy. Because we are weak. International bodies and national organizations like ERA have consistently urged that unsustainable use of natural resources to achieve economic transformation is fundamentally flawed. Premised on new concerns about the health of the environment, publications such as To Cook a Continent, Destructive Extraction and Climate Crisis in Africa by Demobasi 2012 have tried to push us to realize the repercussions of wrong decisions and to desist from irresponsible and brutal decisions that invariably and ultimately leave us as the victim of our own actions and inactions. The goal of this year's event is to explore the challenges and opportunities that Nigeria faces in its use of fossil fuels and other natural resources. In this respect, concerned stakeholders have over the years consistently engaged in a series of thoughtful and free-wheeling exchanges on the negative consequences of man's dependence on fossil fuels. There have also been local, national, regional, and international debates on issues of economic diversification. Regrettably, Nigeria has not been decisively committed to implementing identified and agreed solutions. What this conference must therefore aim to achieve is provoke discussions on what should be Nigeria's agenda for sustainable resource governance, bearing in mind the ongoing recession which may be with us for some time to come. Further, it must map out an implementable action plan that will enable robust engagement with policymakers and other stakeholders. Before I go into Nigeria and global resource governance, let us look at resource governance at the global level itself. What is it saying? And it is important we have a clear understanding of this. Because forest and water and taking account of the complex and changing decision context. Globally, there has been a shift of economic and political power from the G8 countries to G20 countries. This shift significantly influences governance of natural resources in the sense that there is a diverse approach to governance by the participation of groups such as international institutions, national governments, subnational governments, state and privately owned corporations, and a variety of civil society groups, all involved in influencing governance norms and rules. While governance failures are characterized in developing countries by corruption, lack of effective and existing governance structures, and lack of participation of civil society in environmental matters, developed countries suffer from overregulation by rigid bureaucracies, sectoral fragmentation, and sometimes an ever-focused approach to economic and environmental considerations that leaves out social considerations. Of relevance to this discourse for a developing economy like Nigeria is the oppressive and anti-developmental nature of the international patterns of behaviors. When I mentioned the oppressive and hardline approach at times when you look at international systems, I need to give just one example. When you look at trade regimes, trade, which is the capitalist thing, I'm not saying you should go to socialism, but you can do capitalism in a way that will help the human rights. When you look at trade regimes are governed by enforceable international laws. When you look at environmental regimes, they are governed by Swiss. So it shows and it's only when this making under the current international system, systematic on asset evaluation and maximization. As rightly noted by Ahmed Johani and Kishore Upreti, rights are intended to be protected to control assets, and remedies are intended to be enforced to control the protection of the assets. The policies, the power, as well as the relations among states are all intended to safeguard assets. This being the case, manipulation of policies and institutions are commonplace at the international level, bringing about motivated lack of consensus about the scope and nature of justice. Accordingly, a nation that is not alert to what truly is best for it or insufficiently strategic in the interest will remain vulnerable to the intricacies of the global agenda. If you don't know what you want as international members, even if that global agenda for resource governance is there, you will go back home empty because you don't know what you want. I remember there was a particular, I'm sure the executive director will remember, because I think Ella was involved in that discussion. It was the climate change round. So we are going to attend. In fact, Vice Chancellor Barra will remember this. Weeks, just about a month before going for the convention, for that conference, Nigeria was putting together the team that will go and represent at that event. Meanwhile, other countries, developed countries, the moment they finish the last conference, agenda will be for that conference. So they worked for over a year, preparing themselves, preparing the team, training members of the team that will do it. In our own case, was a month before. In fact, a month before was still good because there was a particular thing that happened to a friend of ours, Uzi Meshelia. Uzi Meshelia was at a conference when they went and they tapped him. Lead us in our negotiation. Because he's a lawyer. Uzi's position was, what you want me to lead on? I don't know it, I've not read it. I am not aware of what they discussed the last time, that we are going to continue. I don't know. Accordingly, how then can Nigeria put in place appropriate mechanisms towards achieving sustainable resource governance as a means to ensure economic diversification? And now come to Nigeria, what are the issues and challenges and prospects of a transformational initiative? Sustainable resource governance through a transformational initiative can be quite complex in the setting of unclear goals. At a general level, there is still grappling with a poor understanding and interpretation of the concepts and principles of governance, conflict of interest between stakeholders, lack of awareness of the need to engage in sustainable environmental practices, especially at the context of fundamental with respect to natural resources among a host of issues. Further, despite Nigeria's current ranking as the second largest economy in Africa as at August 2016 after South Africa, its economic growth and development has been plagued by a plethora of bottlenecks, such as poor infrastructure, epileptic power supply, bad road networks, non-functional railway systems, and endemic corruption. In a setting of this nature, sustainable resource governance, being a process which involves a proliferation and adaptation of multi-level actors who must work together to achieve economic stability, can easily be abused and or ignored. Hence, it is not surprising that Nigeria has not only achieved economic diversification. Permit me, distinguished colleagues, to touch a bit more on the term economic diversification. According to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, it is a process in which a growing range of economic outputs is produced. In another sense, it can also refer to the diversification of markets for exports or the diversification of income sources away from domestic economic activities. On the basis of these definitions, Nigeria, quite clearly, is not qualified to be regarded as a country that has diversified its economy, despite its huge potentials and enviable population. While crude oil contributed greatly to Nigeria's economic wealth since its discovery in the 50s, bringing oil prices